Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. This is Daily Trading Analysis with a quick market update for today, Thursday, 19th of October. Today, we are packed with news, economic data, breaking news, Jerome Powell speech, a lot of things today. I will try to do a quick review of everything in order to gather the overall sentiment, because right now, everything is so bearish. First, initial jobless claims came way lower than expected. We were expecting 200,000 and we got not even that, 198. Again, signs that the labor market remains really tough. People are not losing their jobs. So Fed is not happy. Fed want to really increase in unemployment and increase in jobless claims in order for economy to cool down. But well, we are far from that point. Then we got existing home sales after half an hour, and well, a little bit of lower, but month over month minus 2%. Really putting low, a low minus 2%. It's a 9-month low. We have not been this low since January. And finally, Fed Chair Powell speech right now is crashing the markets. But before moving that and performing the usual technical analysis, let's review what is happening in terms of probabilities. We are still at 525, 550, but two things are happening. We are still quite high in terms of perhaps December and January for a rate hike. These probabilities are continuing higher. And look at this, the rate at which analysts are predicting rate cuts, it's slowing down. This is finally the analysts and the market pricing in the big sentence higher for longer that the Fed is continuing saying and trying for markets to understand. Everyone needs to understand that higher for longer, it's quite painful. So now we are moving into earnings because earnings are playing a big role in the overall sentiment. Tesla and Netflix, two different performances. Netflix is crashing expectations, raising almost 18% today because basically they are not seeing any decrease in subscribers. They are seeing a big increase despite the fact that they increased prices in all layers or tiers of subscriptions, and also they crashed the share mechanism. People are still subscribing. They put ad tier. People are still subscribing. They hike prices. People continue subscribing. So they are in the driver's seat. And this, in my opinion, is a little bit greedy from them. But oh boy, stakeholders are really happy. Because if we check actually what is happening with Netflix, oh boy, look at this. Yesterday, we got the big push on earnings release. We continued until today. And despite the fact that we pulled back a bit, I think this was profit taking. We are holding these levels. 394, 400 are really interesting levels. Netflix right now 15% in the green. Look at this huge gap. So people are loving Netflix, but let me tell you, they are not loving Tesla. Tesla, it's more and more continuing the slowdown, and pessimistic note from Elon Musk made that investors really are pulling the rug and selling basically the stock. Their earnings were far from expected, and revenue is also going lower, 23 billion versus 24 billion. And they are lowering prices, they are trying to increase demand, but they are not achieving that goal. So that's why Elon Musk is saying we need to continue lowering prices for consumers to really feel attractive for Tesla cars. and stakeholders don't like that. So what they do, they sell. Investors sell, and the overall sentiment, look at this gap, it's really that Tesla is slowing down a lot. This was the release of earnings, this was the earnings call, and since then we are slowly dragging down, and at the open we tried, we failed, and we are continuing lower. Right now Tesla is minus 9% on the day, entering this gap that we got on August. And I think honestly people are willing to buy Tesla down here. I think at these levels demand is going to show, buyers are going to show, and we have a little bit of technical setup here breaking down this ascending. We have also the big long term that we also crashed down, gapping down, but I think there's so much gap behind that people will find this opportunity attractive and will buy the stock. Finally, let's move on into other topics. Apart from earnings, we need to discuss several news. First, Powell says inflation is still too high, and he doesn't feel that the policy is restrictive enough. That means hikes, more hikes, and more hikes, and on top of that, higher for longer. So market is freaking out, but also more things are happening. US State Department issues worldwide caution. Be careful with this because the Middle East conflict, it's spreading, and be careful. This is quite dangerous. Joe Biden tried to go to Israel to increase the efforts for peace, but he didn't achieve what was expected, and Israel continues with the plan. Iran, Hamas, Palestinian people, Russia, a lot of conflict of interest are in that region, and this is causing, in my opinion, a lot of sell-off in the market. Now, let's go to the charts to really analyze what is happening. Remember that we are in a context in which earnings were good for banks due to interest rates hikes, but the Tesla is not doing good. Tesla is dragging the market down minus 10% in the tech stocks. But look at this. Look at this volatility. This was the open, down, up, down, up, down. Now, Powell started speaking, and at this point, the US State Department declared the worldwide caution, and we basically fell off. We are now trying to push higher. There's so much at stake for big players. Nasdaq doesn't know what to do. Markets are in a situation in which there's a lot of uncertainty for inflation, for the Russian-Ukraine war, Middle East conflict. A lot of things are happening at the same time. And despite the fact that we had a little bit of technical setup to the upside, we are slowly dragging down due to a lot of people freaking out, and there's a lot of fear in the market. Dollar continues trying to hold it in the red today after Jerome Powell's speech and then the US State Department worldwide caution message. There's so much fundamental right now that I cannot do a proper forecast. We have to wait for things to settle. This is just gambling. There are some levels on the 30-minute chart that are being respected. Buyers are appearing at this daily level. This is the daily level this week at 14,900, and we are still trying to find this higher low for consolidation into a retest and breakout of this descending trend line. But let me tell you, fundamentally, there's a lot of things that are against this move. Yields are way overbought. Treasuries are way oversold. Earnings in the middle of the pack. Financials mixed state. Conflicts, wars, crude oil now continuing higher, finding some buyers. I mean, there's so much in these markets that if you don't trust, if you don't feel confident, the best you can do is just shut down and wait for things to settle. Tomorrow, Friday, might be a crazy day also, but I think the best for you, if you don't have confidence, if you are not confident enough, or you think that this volatility is too much for you, my recommendation is just to take the weekend and wait for next week. The next few days are going to be key for a lot of things to develop and finally find some ground. So my recommendation, look at this. I mean, after this sell-off, having this retrace, how I feel manipulated. I feel that the market, it's a lot of manipulation going around, and we are a small grain of salt in a big ocean of play. So I feel that I'm not controlling anything. Anything can happen anytime. So I'm just not touching this market until things calm down. So that's all from my side. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, because I upload videos like this one every single day for market forecasts, market updates, and market recaps. I appreciate your time as always. Be really careful in this market. I repeat, be really careful. There's a lot at stake, and a lot of big participants are taking advantage of small players like us due to the uncertainty and the fear. So be disciplined, manage your risk, and my recommendation is for you to really shut down and wait for better opportunities once we find common ground. Stay safe, everyone, and see you tomorrow.